Hi guys, this is Karen Cochran-Hall from Tarabiz Condado and clientmarketingsolutions.com. I wanted to continue. The last few days I've had quite a lot of queries from clients, payroll accountancy clients in my office, reference the forms and the bureaucracy that unfortunately we have to go through if we want to employ someone legally, okay? The other day on my last video, I did talk about the idea that we recommend when someone contracts a worker that you fill in a form. We have a model that we've done that's quite complete, and we give to our clients, and they fill it in with the worker and the employer, the boss, the firm, signs, and they basically keep the original on site, and they send us a copy. And it's important because it has all the details of the category, basically the offer of employment that the worker at the set date before they start, they've actually accepted. Why is that important? I just remind you that the Spanish system requires obviously a Spanish contract, and not all of your workers understand Spanish, and they could allegate in the future that they didn't understand the conditions of work. So having this in English is one of our high recommendations for obvious reasons. And I'll repeat, it also sets the relationship, the ongoing work relationship that you're going to have with your worker in a very good clarity mode, because from the outset you're very clear, you're very concise, and you're keeping things on record, and that's always good, okay, to start the way you mean to go on professionally. The other thing that we talked about the other day, just to quickly remind you, is the 030 form, which is the registration of a taxpayer in Spain, and that's essential for you to have that for your workers done, because if not, at the end of the year you could have some issues, okay? And today, basically, I wanted to talk more specifically about what they call it, the Model 145 in Spain. And that's a retention certificate. It's a retention, how would I define this in English? It's the retention, it's a form that the tax office, the Spanish equivalent of the Inland Revenue, it's an official form that all workers should be filling in, okay? And they basically, it's their specific personal details as far as their tax retention, the percentage of their tax retention on their payroll every month. There are two factors to take into consideration here. Obviously the type of contract and the category and the wage that you pay the worker. That will affect obviously the percentage. You'll have a higher percentage if you pay somebody €2,000 in their nomina on their payroll, rather than a €500 wage. So we bear that in mind. But the important thing of this 145 model is that it's signed by the worker when they start, or as they're starting, before we do the first nomin or payroll for you. And it is signed by the worker and dated. So it's very, very important. Again, it's another document that you keep on file. And we would recommend that you keep it like everything else here, minimum 4 years, because the tax office could come back and say, hi guys, to you as a firm, we're revising the tax retention for so-and-so. This person was a worker in whatever the year was. Can you prove the retention status? And if you have kept the forms, you obviously have that on record, and that's good for proof of that the worker themselves declared that they're married, they're divorced, they're single, their spouse works, they have no dependent kids or with them, and that would affect the broke up there, I don't know, Spanish internet, that would affect the retentions on the payroll, and this will avoid, it's proof for the future, and it also means that the retention on the nomina or on the payroll every month for your worker is correctly calculated out, it's correctly done. So that can only be good for you and for your worker, okay? So that is the famous 145 model. So you need to get that done for each and every worker, okay? And we would also recommend that it's done once a year to keep the data or the circumstances, the personal individual circumstances up to date. because people's circumstances can change and it can affect their tax coding as far as the percentage of retention that they have. So please take heed and get it done. I'd appreciate some feedback, guys. I'm going to have to be patient this afternoon, and I thank folks to be being patient. I can see that there's a couple of people who have joined us. So Mark, Kay, Shirley, please give us some feedback if this has been interesting and informative and useful for you. And also, as I've said in Money Matters in Tenerife, if you can please post things that you would like to hear more of, give your opinions, give your experiences. We would obviously like a positive focus, and that you put not only what has happened to you, but the solutions that you've been able to find. And that's always good, because this is what this group is all about, not just me going on and on and on. As I say, nice to see you all, guys. I hope this has been useful. God bless, and I'll speak soon. Bye.